This report that we're happy to release today, entitled Destination Sustainability, Reducing Greenhouse Gas Emissions from Freight Transportation in North America, it sets out to examine in very specific terms the environmental impact of freight transportation, specifically from road and rail modes. And it deals with a series of challenges, key findings, and recommendations. This may be the single report, or perhaps one of the very few, that focuses exclusively on this topic from the perspective of North America and the constituent challenges that are posed by our ever-growing economies and integration at a continental level. Let me skip to the point, get to the point directly, and basically say that we find that the most important requirement in avoiding the increase in freight-related GHG emissions that are anticipated as a consequence of continued trade and commercial growth in the NAFTA region is not simply continued progress in cleaner and more efficient fuels and technologies, but the vision and willingness at a continental scale to foster an integrated, intelligent freight transportation system that will play an integral part in greening the economy in North America. We find, as in other endeavors, that the policies, regulations, incentives, investments, technologies necessary to accomplish more sustainable freight transportation across North America will also make our economies more efficient, competitive, and energy secure. And I should say, by way of reference, that this report looks out specifically to 2030 as our horizon. The report does identify a number of key findings, and principally, these focus on the challenge of growth. The NAFTA population is expected over the next 20 years to grow to 540 million people by 2030. The economy will grow to 130% of its 2005 level. That the U.S. interstate highway travel demand, measured in vehicle miles traveled, will increase from 690 billion to 1.3 trillion vehicle miles traveled in that period. That measured in trucks, that's another 1.8 million trucks on the road by 2020. That total freight tonnage is expected to nearly double. And that with all of this, of course, comes increasing fuel use, emissions, congestion, and impact on the transportation infrastructure. The transportation sector at this point in North America is second only to electricity generation in terms of CO2 emissions produced. And CO2, of course, is about 95% or more of all of the freight-related greenhouse gas emissions. So there are a number of specific challenges that we identify in the report. With respect to North America's competitive position, many have noted that our transportation infrastructure is not being adequately supported and that systems are not being expanded and modernized at rates comparable to other competitors globally. The report then goes on to identify a set of recommendations. The most important, we believe, is that the primary focus here should be to work more closely at the level of our three countries to foster an integrated, intelligent freight transportation system, a more seamless and efficient set of linkages that bring our three countries functionally, if not literally, closer together in dealing with inefficiencies and border congestions that are currently costing us jobs, exacerbating pollution, and compromising productivity in all jurisdictions. This report proposes that a transparent price on carbon would give everyone a clear signal that they should be investing in efficiency and low carbon alternatives. We recommend that an appropriate share of revenues be dedicated to the freight transportation system to ensure modernization and sustainability, and this would include examination of the potential for carbon pricing to contribute to a dedicated North American multi- and intermodal transport infrastructure fund to minimize congestion along corridors and at our borders. Transportation agencies and businesses operating nationally and across international borders could reduce costs and GHG emissions by managing the transportation system more efficiently. Each jurisdiction can improve the training and equipping of drivers to optimize their environmental and economic performance by driving in ways that conserve energy. And finally, we make the point that transportation, environmental, and statistical agencies in all three countries should work more assiduously through the North American Transportation Statistics Interchange to enhance the quality and comparability of freight data to better manage freight transportation as a continent-wide system. Simply put, it would be much easier to improve the whole system if there were a clearer understanding of what is working and what needs work in North America?
The Commission has set forth a very real problem in very real and stark terms. North America accounts for 7% of the world's population, yet it accounts for 25% of the global climate change emissions. And of these, over a third are transportation related. The North American economy, as Evan has said, is slated to grow over 130% over the next 20 years. But that growth is dependent upon a functioning and sustainable freight transportation system. It's clear we can't continue business as usual, because our infrastructure has been underinvested in over the past 20 years and is deteriorating. We need to invest in our infrastructure to really accommodate any change in any improvement. The report recommends a greater investment in the use of technology. Smart technologies, ITS technologies, have found their way into the freight management system. And in fact, private sector logistics firms really have led the way in some technology adoption, yet there's more we can do. Things like smart highways that reduce traffic gridlock, crash avoidance systems in trucks, fully modernized freight logistics systems that go beyond the big freight companies, stress testing bridges, drive-by weigh station deployment, electronic toll systems that allow trucks to bypass toll facilities, telematics systems that provide logistics companies and operators with real-time traffic information so that drivers can optimize their travel routes, eco-driving applications. All of these technologies are out there and they're making their way into the system, but we need to figure out a way to incentivize them and to get them out more quickly and more broadly. Technology is no longer a nice-to-have amenity. It's really a must-have solution. For cash-strapped countries, they've got to stretch limited dollars and make better use of their existing capacity. And we've got to find ways to incentivize them to do this.
Right now, the U.S. is actually poised to lead the way when it comes to truck technology. We can cost-effectively improve the fuel economy for freight trucks by 30 to 40% in the next 20 years, and even more so, 40 to 55% out to 2050. The bottom line is there's lots of technology available today, but market failures like a lack of a price on carbon are preventing some of those technologies from being used. So we need to fix those failures and help push that technology into the truck market. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the data recommendation that Evan highlighted, the final one. And that's one of the key recommendations in the CEC report. Right now, the data we collect on transborder freight in North America is inconsistent and incomplete. We can't know all the best policies to develop a sustainable freight system in North America if we don't have good data. Tracking the movement of a good whose origin and destination are different countries in North America requires cooperation across the borders, which is why the CEC recommends that a memorandum of understanding be signed that makes the North American Transportation Statistics Interchange a mandatory component of cooperation among the NAFTA countries. And we think getting good data related to greenhouse gases will help us find the most efficient ways to reduce emissions.
ATA, as the other panelists, is very proud to be participating in today's rollout to the CEC Freight Report. The U.S. trucking industry is committed to greening our environment and becoming more sustainable and efficient. Clean diesel technologies, and new fuel-efficient equipment have allowed fleets to push the envelope of environmental accomplishments to a whole new level. We must and will keep striving to improve upon our environmental successes. Our plan, along with the CEC report, include the following. Number 1, lowering of speeds. 2, increasing fuel efficiency. 3, ATA supports national fuel economy standards for both medium and heavy-duty trucks. 4, decrease needless engine idling. 5, reducing highway congestion through highway infrastructure improvements. And finally, promoting the use of more productive trucks. ATA wanted to take sustainability to the next level. The CEC Freight Report serves as the very platform to do just that. Most importantly, the report reflects that we can and need to coordinate our efforts to make the North American freight network more efficient and more sustainable.
If we can come out of this with tying NAFTA to a real transportation forum that engages the private sector and hears from them in terms of the day-to-day issues that they face in terms of productivity and competitiveness, I think we're going to be in good shape. What we don't have is federal leadership because we don't have a reauthorized bill, and what we don't have yet, and what we're suggesting as a group, is that somehow we integrate the energy policy and the environmental policy of these 3 great countries into our transportation policy here in the United States. And I think that's why we're gathered together here in Washington, D.C. at a very critical time when we're looking at reauthorizing our surface transportation bill. So, what's your perspective on the integration of greenhouse gas and smart and sustainable transportation into the funding and the governance issues?
First thing I want to do is commend Bruce and Evan for having the commission look at this on a hemispheric basis rather than just country by country. Finally, I want to commend you for including Scott, because technology has got to be part of the solution here. Advanced technology, as well as you know, the airframe of the truck, what you put inside the truck. But this is a good start, and we look forward to working with you to share this with our members.